Alright, so this is part 2 to what if female deku was Quetzalcoatl. Now, I wanted to go over the first couple this first minute to discuss about what I'm going to be retconning. So, first thing is that I'm going to be retconning that Quetzalcoatl gets one for all. It's actually going to be given to Melissa. So Melissa will have one for all, not Quetzalcoatl. 2, I also did a bit more research, and Quetzalcoatl and this version of Deku does have the parasite thing that turned previous users into the gods. So that's what her quirk is. No, not her quirk. Her build she has. And third, I did do my research on Quetzalcoatl's fighting style, which is sort of like a lucha libre type fighting style. And with out of the way, let us continue. So, we begin with Melissa and Quetzalcoatl training as Melissa can currently use up to about 20% of one for all, and Quetzalcoatl, Deku is currently fighting at a very minimum amount of her full power, with her then basically throwing Melissa up into the air as she then proceeds to slam her into the ground, cracking it as a small portion of Island would shake. With All Might declaring that the fight was over and that Quetzalcoatl wins. With Quetzalcoatl helping Melissa up, and she would say that there's going to be no chance that she'll beat her. With Deku saying, "Don't worry, sister, you will end up beating me one of these days. I just know it." As Melissa would say, "Thank you." With David Shield basically discussing with All Might on if it is wise to have somebody as powerful as Quetzalcoatl to train with Melissa. With All Might saying that I do believe that it's not the wisest, but there will be very powerful villains out there. So if Melissa can beat Quetzalcoatl, then she can beat most of the villains on the planet. With David Shield responding with, "Yeah, you're probably right." As All Might would say to them both that he thinks they're both ready to partake in the entrance exam. With Melissa and Deku being very excited about this, as they would take a plane off Vi Island after they say their goodbyes to David Shield, as they would head off to Japan, as Island would then begin to move again. Now, I'm just going to say that Deku and Melissa have an app on their phone that only the people of Island know about, that allows them to track where Island is and where it's moving to. So they basically know where Island is at all times. Give me a minute. Sorry about that. As they take the limousines that the teachers took to get to UA. I don't know if I said that they landed on Japan, but they did. As they would end up arriving at UA a couple of hours later, as they would then begin to take the entrance exam for UA. As they go into the auditorium, with Quetzalcoatl getting excited that they're going to be that they are being spoken to by the Pro Hero President Mike, as President Mike would explain that about the 1-pointers, the 2-pointers, and the 3-pointers, as a blue-haired boy would pipe up, as he would say that there are 4 robots on the paper here, and that if this is an oversight by UA, he is very disappointed. As President Mike would say that he was just about to talk about the 0-pointer, as Ida then sits down in shame, as he would then they would then get on to the written portion of the exam, which Melissa and Quetzalcoatl pass with flying colors, as they would then make their way to the physical part of the exam. But due to them both technically going to the same school on Island, they were both put in separate areas. So Quetzalcoatl is in the same area as Ida and Uraraka, while Quetzalcoatl is in the same area as Katsuki Bakugo. With Quetzalcoatl making her way to the front to get a head start, with Ida grabbing her on her shoulder as he says, "What are you doing going to the front? Are you going to go and distract that girl and mess up her chances?" With Quetzalcoatl baring her sharp teeth, and the sort of purple gas-like stuff began to seep out of her mouth as she'd say, "Look, I'm going to the head start. I'm going to the front so I can get a head start. So if you could take your filthy monkey hands off my shoulder, that would be well appreciated." With Ida being immediately creeped out by this, as he would take his hands off of Deku's shoulder, as she would then proceed to the front, with President Mike beginning his countdown, as Quetzalcoatl would immediately dash forward, as he would say, "Hey, she's cheating, she should be disqualified from the exams," as President Mike would say that there are no countdowns in a real villain attack. Follow her lead and go, go, go. With Quetzalcoatl racking up a total of 67 villain points within the first 12 seconds. As she would also be helping some people, would getting her a total of 50 hero points. And as she gets enough to where she would pass, she just sits back and relaxes. As she would then hear a rumbling, as she would look and see that the 0-pointer is coming through the area, with Quetzalcoatl thinking that it isn't really worth her time, as she's about to leave the area, as she sees that she heard somebody screaming for help, as she sees that Uraraka is stuck underneath the rubble, with Quetzalcoatl immediately going to help Uraraka, as she dashes by her, as she then jumps up into basically the stratosphere, as she then uses that move she used on Tiamat. I forgot what it was called, so if you guys know the name of it, leave it in the comments. But it's sort of like toned down to the point where it won't turn the entire area into a molten pit of lava. As she basically uses that on the 0-pointer, as it would basically explode, as Quetzalcoatl would help Uraraka out of the rubble, as the timer would go off, with time being up, as the entrance exam would be over. And that is where I'm going to end this part off. I do hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you later today with part 2 of the Siren Head one. So I'll see you later.